Okay, we're probably broadcasting right now. This is. We'll figure out who this is in just a moment. Gearing up for Linglestown Gazette morning update for May 13th, 2019. If you're stumbling upon this weird spot on the internet, YouTube and Facebook, this is for anyone living in anywhere in Central Dauphin School District. Okay, I'm going to make sure we're actually broadcasting. Yeah, this is it. We're good. I'm gonna mute that. Okay. And anyone in Central Dauphin School District, if you live in Lower Paxton Township especially, and also the greater Linglestown area, this is where you need to be. This is the spot to find out what's going on just beyond your backyard. Now, this is Bill Bostic's alter ego, Billigan. And I'll be performing, yes, Billigan will be back in action in October at Springgate in the Village. Do you know where Springgate in the Village is? Is anyone watching? We'll see. Springgate in the Village is located across the street from St. Thomas Roasters Coffee House. There's going to be a murder mystery. Billigan, that's the character I'm portraying right now, will be there. I decided to wear it because really I'm having a bad hair day. I wanted to just get it out there in front of everybody. But and also it's supposed to be an attention-getting device. It may not work. It may backfire like a lot of things I do, and that's fine. We'll get rid of this little get up here and get into what we're going to be talking about today. We have 5 top stories, folks. 5 top stories. Good morning to Rich Mazzatesta. Before we get into those 5 top stories that you need to know about, this show is brought to you by Consolidated Insurance Services. Now, they're located in Paxtonia. I don't know if Paxtonia is on a map or not, but it's on the south side of Route 22, in the area of the former Harrisburg Drive-In, which is now the Carnes Food Plaza, as I like to call it. They're back in there in a former home, 62. I think it's 6109 Jonestown Road. You look for that Erie Insurance sign. My daughter's a client. I tried to be a client, but I'm not a good risk, so I have to wait a little bit to work with them. But Erie Insurance, I've been a policyholder in the past. My daughter's getting great service from this agency. Check them out. Auto, home, life, and business insurances. Also, we're brought to you by the Committee to Re-elect Rich Mazzatesta and elect Ted Giovannis to the Central Dauphin School District. That's Region 2, okay? 5 top stories. All right, here's your first story. What in the heck is going on at the former Blue Ridge Country Club? It looks like it's being turned into a farm field. I'm only kidding. I mean, I know what's going on. When I got back into Linglestown Gazette for the 3rd time, this is a story I followed because it was so hot and heavy. There were threads on, it's called Nextdoor, the Nextdoor social media site you may be familiar with, that were 50, 60, 70, 80 entries long about Blue Ridge Country Club. I inserted myself into that discussion and got back into Linglestown Gazette for the 3rd time because of that. Because it was very obvious. Many people didn't want it. Some did. Some wanted some housing designated for age 55 and older. Others didn't. A big debate ensued. Many meetings, multiple years going by trying to change zoning and all that, and ultimately it was approved. It's Blue Ridge Village. Blue Ridge Village is what it's going to be called. Designed for people age 55 and older, even though younger people can stay there. So what's going on now? Those trees were wiped out. There was a stand of evergreens along Linglestown Road, which is sort of a feature and something you always saw. I mean, one time I saw a herd of deer going across there at one point. All gone. And all kinds of information started flying around Facebook, multiple Facebook pages, and what it comes down to is Triple Crown Corporation, based here in Lower Paxton Township. They're operated by a gentleman by the name of Mark DeSanto, issued a statement saying their highway occupancy permit required that this is coming from the state. PennDOT required them to knock down some of the trees to be able to put in a new driveway and also a traffic light at Crumbs Mill Road. So that was state required, something they didn't see coming down the pike apparently. And then the other part was, and it's actually happening, I think, starting tonight, they're doing underground utility work under Linglestown Road into that development, soon-to-be development. That was going to knock down some trees. So I guess somewhere along the line they said, just take them all out. And what I'll be checking with Triple Crown Corporation this week to find out just exactly what their plan is. I'm pretty sure they're going to have to put trees or some sort of buffering between Linglestown Road and what's going to be just on the other side of those probably future trees. They're going to have some commercial development. Good morning, Joe Gillaway. You joined Anthony Cristello. Good morning to you. Everyone's starting to come in. We have 6 people watching live at the moment. So anyways, but I'll tell you from a personal perspective, I'm a golfer. I have played Blue Ridge Country Club probably 2 or 3 times. Enjoyed the course. I always because you're a golfer, you're always looking at golf courses and seeing what's going on and all that kind of thing. When I drove up there and I saw those trees knocked down, the desolation that was there, even though I fully understand what's going on, what's going on, it did have sort of an emotional pull on my heart. It's like, geez, what a change. And I figured there's going to be a big public outburst. There was. So if you have any questions on that, I'll be glad to talk to you about it. I mean, there's an emotional side to it, and then there's a township regulatory side to it, and then there's a business perspective to it. All those things, come together, and to understand what's going on, you have to sort of take the emotions out. If you can't take the emotions out, forget it. There's nothing to talk about. So that's what's happening at Blue Ridge Country Club. We're brought to you in part by St. Thomas Roasters Coffee House, the capital of coffee in Linglestown, folks. So my second office, and I'm in my new office now. You can see it's starting to come together. Have another workstation, have a blind, maybe soon some wall decorations. We'll see. Number 2 story is, oh my gosh, the May 21st primary election, the municipal primary election is rolling around, and the school board race is really heating up. You may or may not be aware of it. It depends on who you like or dislike on Facebook and what shows up in your mailbox. I'm not going to dig into the details here. I am tracking, primarily my focus is on Region 2. This is a race that pits incumbent Rich Mazzatesta and his partner Ted Giovannis against a 2 newcomers to the political scene, Lauren Silvers and Ryan Gunder. Lots of stuff happening there, some things happening. And by the way, Region 2 is like the western part of Lower Paxton Township, and it winds its way. If you're into politics, it's a gerrymandered region. It sort of winds its way around parts of Colonial Park, then it goes up into Dauphin. Middle Paxton Township is like a big C when you look at it on the map. It sort of goes everywhere. And that's Region 2, and that's where this race is happening. Also, Region 1 is down in the Enhot, Bressler, Rutherford, Swatara Township area. There's a big one. Three candidates competing there. So we're going to try and sort through all that, and in one way or other get you information ahead of the election so you know who you're voting for. So there's a lot happening. Again, I don't have time or really in a position to do that. And that brings me to story number 3. We need a journalist in this community. Stuff like this, like Blue Ridge Village, stuff like the school board race. I have my hands tied to some degree because I'm still working for a news concern in Harrisburg that deals with state government. And depending on the topic, I am muted because I have a conflict of interest policy. If I get into some topics too heavily, my employer that has a spot down at the state capitol is going to get some heat, and I'm ultimately going to get myself kicked out of a job. So, yeah, I'm doing some stuff, and you're seeing a sampling of what could happen if you have a journalist keeping track of things in government, in politics, in local sports. You're getting a sampling of all that, but I'm still not in a position to do this full time. Because again, if I'm telling you right now, if I lose my job, I may lose my family and everything else, and I just cannot do that. So I have to get myself pulled away from that, out of that system, and on my own as an independent journalist, for me to be the guy to really dig into this thing and be the beat reporter that our community has never had. Do you realize that Lower Paxton Township went from a sleepy community just north of Harrisburg that primarily was still a farm community, agricultural type of thing? You had the village of Linglestown, and then eventually Colonial Park started showing up. And that just sort of reminds me that this Blue Ridge Village thing at the former Blue Ridge Country Club, that was not mountainous, tree-covered land. Before that became a country club, that was a farm field. It's being turned back into a type of farm field, although you can't use it for farming because all the chemicals that have been dumped on it. So that's story number 3. We need a journalist. Journalism, reporters, beat reporters, getting information out to you, someone watching is integral to our democracy, folks. We need a watchdog. I want to be that watchdog. We're going to find a way to get me or somebody else in that position. This is too big of a community. We probably have more people than the city of Harrisburg. Our school district is $200 million freaking dollars. That's how many tax dollars flow through there. The more money, the more likelihood you have corruption. The more likelihood you have money being wasted, and you need a watchdog. That's one of the things I'm doing right now. I made a decision to sit my butt in person at as many school board meetings as I can right now, just to have a presence, just to say that there is a reporter in the house. Not watch it on streaming, but get my fanny into these meetings. Even if I don't file a report, there's a reporter there watching. What a difference this makes. Okay, so that's story number 3. Number 4, and we're brought to you, just to mention our sponsor here, we're brought to you in part by Kane Mortgage. Kane Mortgage, they're located just west of the village of Linglestown on Linglestown Road. You take a look at all their loan originators or mortgage originators, over 100 years of experience. Kane Mortgage, my friend Kane Smeltz runs that. Check with them if you need mortgage a mortgage or a refinance, or maybe you want to get some additional retirement dollars through a reverse mortgage. Yes, they're experts in reverse mortgages. Story number 4, Lower Paxton Township. They're going to be meeting this week. They have a monthly workshop meeting where they discuss issues. They typically don't take votes. On the agenda, there is apparently a bleacher project in the works at the football field at Coons Park, and I've seen evidence of this. There are stakes out there to build bleachers, and looks like the Central Dauphin Rams youth football organization has a big project in the works. They'll be discussing that. Also, there's going to be discussion about the Friendship Community Center and some funding proposals. When that went up, I think there was a commitment to fund it through revenue received through the center, and I think as time is going on, that's become more and more difficult. So I'm not fully up to speed on the accounting for that facility, but they're going to be talking about that on Tuesday night. That's tomorrow night, 7 o'clock at the Municipal Center. And story number 5, and we're going to talk about Tonino's Pizza. This is a sports story. Tonino's Pizza is located, the one we work with is across from Susquehanna Township High School. There are 4 Central Dauphin Rams sports teams that have qualified for District 3 playoff competition. And things kick off tonight. The Central Dauphin Lady Rams girls lacrosse team will be traveling to Central York to take on a team down there in the first round of the tournament. But also beyond girls lacrosse, there's softball. And softball probably has the best chance to take it pretty deep into districts and hopefully the state competition. They're now in first. They're in first place, but they won the Mid-Penn Commonwealth Crown this past Friday. They defeated the Chambersburg team that they were competing with 2-0. And so softball, girls lacrosse, baseball, big turnaround season for them. They're in the playoffs. And then the boys volleyball teams all will be in action. Check Linglestown Gazette Sports for more information about that. Just to wrap up here, I do want to recognize Anthony Cristillo's FatManClothingCompany.com, longtime sponsor. CBC Cabinetry and Flooring. You can see evidence of their work behind me. That little brown area there is a workstation that they installed. And who am I forgetting? Anyone else? Oh, yes, Cole Chiropractic. Cole Performance Chiropractic at out in West Hanover Township at the health club behind Aruga's. And darn, I can't. Platinum Fitness. That's where he's located, in Platinum Fitness. And I know for sure if you want to better your golf game, he'll help you learn how to prepare for a golf round more effectively, and also evaluate ways that you can hit the ball longer. That's Cole Performance Chiropractic. Well, thanks for putting up with me. Sorry for the long hair in the beginning, but again, you gotta mix things up, right? I want to be Walter Cronkite, but given everything I do, there's no way I can do that. This is Bill Bostic, your wannabe Walter Cronkite, the captain of all local news here in the greater Linglestown area, Central Dauphin School District, signing off for Consolidated Insurance, and the committee to re-elect Rich Mazzatesta and Ted Giovannis will be back Wednesday with Crystal Bob, my co-host. Probably at St. Thomas Roasters, but who knows. Have a great Monday. Thanks for stopping by, the two of you who are still watching.